If you told someone a few years ago that Lewis Hamilton, the man who practically built his name into the Mercedes-AMG brand, would someday suit up in Ferrari red, they'd have laughed it off as pure fantasy. But this isn't some made-up timeline. This is real. Hamilton made the jump. And what a jump it was. The 7-time world champion, known for his relentless pursuit of perfection, left behind comfort, legacy, and a winning machine to chase something that's eluded even the greatest drivers, Ferrari glory. Now, let's be honest, the start of the 2025 season has been nothing short of brutal for Hamilton. 14 races in and not a single podium. Not even a sneaky P3. The only bright spot? A sprint race win in China that feels more like a memory than momentum. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc, Perry's golden boy, is putting in the work, poles, points, and keeping the fire burning in Maranello. Hamilton, on the other hand, he's been spiraling. After the Hungarian Grand Prix, he qualified 12th. Leclerc took pole, and in the media pen, Lewis didn't sugarcoat it. "I'm useless," he said, more than once. That wasn't frustration. That was a man in crisis. But here's the kicker. In the middle of all this chaos, a wild revelation just flipped the narrative on its head. According to a leaked report from La Gazzetta dello Sport, Hamilton's contract includes a clause that's unlike anything we've seen before. A clause that gives him, and only him, the power to decide whether he stays at Ferrari until the end of 2027. Not Ferrari, not the team principal, not the board. That's Lewis, that's it. If he wants to stay, they're legally bound to let him. That's power. Raw, unfiltered power. And it's not the kind of thing you see often in Formula One. Normally, drivers are tossed aside when results start drying up. No mercy, no debates, just cold business. But Lewis, he flipped the script. He's not just driving for Ferrari, he's owning the room, shaping the direction, challenging every part of the system. Now, why would Ferrari, a team that hasn't seen a driver's championship since 2007, hand over that level of control to a 40-year-old driver whose best days might be behind him? Because of 2026, that year changes everything. New car regulations, new power unit rules, a full-on reboot of the sport, and Ferrari is betting that with Hamilton at the center of it all, they can finally break the curse. And make no mistake, it is a curse. Alonso couldn't lift it, Vettel couldn't crack it, Leclerc, despite his brilliance, hasn't touched it. Ferrari has been cursed with near misses, blown strategies, and heartbreaks for nearly 2 decades. But in Hamilton, they see something else. A finisher, a closer, a legacy seeker who's not here to retire quietly. But don't think for a second that Hamilton is coasting. Behind the scenes, he's been busy. Meetings at Maranello, reports, culture shifts, pushing the engineers, demanding more from the leadership. He's not just turning up, collecting a paycheck, and calling it a day. He's building, reshaping, fighting for something bigger than a single race win. This isn't a farewell tour. It's a battle for legacy. His and Ferrari's. And through all the noise, all the doubt, Hamilton keeps repeating one thing: I'm here to win. Not just a race, not just a moment, but to rewrite the ending of a story that's haunted Maranello for far too long. Ferrari didn't sign Hamilton just for his name. They signed a force, a disruptor. A man who walks into a room and makes everyone uncomfortable in the best way possible. And that's exactly what he's been doing inside Maranello. Word is, he's been challenging top-tier decisions, questioning everything from the car's development path to the way meetings are run. He's not there to nod politely. He's there to shake the tree until the dead fruit drops. Lewis knows exactly what Ferrari has lacked: discipline at the top, direction in the middle, and execution at the bottom. The raw passion has always been there. The fans, the history, the fire, but passion doesn't win championships, precision does. That's what Mercedes had in abundance during his dominant years. And that's what he's trying to inject into a system that's relied too long on emotion and nostalgia. And here's where it gets real interesting. That clause in his contract, it's more than just a safety net, it's leverage. It means Hamilton can play the long game. He can push for changes that take time to mature because he doesn't have to fear being cut loose. It's Ferrari who's locked in, not him. He can test loyalties, demand loyalty, and still have an exit door if things turn toxic. But there's risk in that power too, because the longer he stays without results, the louder the critics get. And right now, the critics are circling like sharks. Every race weekend that ends without points is another reason for people to say he's done, that he made a mistake, that Ferrari gambled on a ghost. That's the narrative. What they're missing is the fire that's been reignited in him. He's not the same man who left Mercedes, that Lewis had achieved it all. This one, he's chasing something that can't be measured in trophies. Redemption, reinvention, legacy. The kind of legacy that doesn't just sit on the record books, but rewrites the identity of a team. And it's not just lip service. Internally, Ferrari sources have confirmed Hamilton's fingerprints are everywhere, from simulator sessions that run late into the night to detailed debriefs where he's dissecting data like an engineer. He's all in. He's even reportedly helped overhaul the way Ferrari approaches sponsorships, marketing, and fan engagement. That's not normal driver behavior. That's leadership. Then there's the elephant in the paddock, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, the rising star, the prodigy, the future. Ferrari sees him as their next big thing. But guess who's been mentoring him quietly, almost like a passing of the torch? Hamilton, not as someone fading away, but as someone building a legacy pipeline. Because Lewis knows that greatness isn't just about winning, it's about creating space for others to win after you're gone. That doesn't mean he's ready to hand things over. Far from it. Hamilton's not just here to guide, he wants to crush the competition one more time before he ever considers stepping aside. His words say it all. "I don't have as much time as this one here," he said, nodding toward Antonelli, "so I'm going all in." The question now isn't whether he can still drive, it's whether Ferrari can catch up to the pace of his ambition. Can they build a car that doesn't just look fast in wind tunnels and renders, but actually delivers on the track? That's the pressure. That's the bet. Because no matter how powerful that contract clause is, Hamilton doesn't want to be stuck. He wants to win, and he's not going to wait forever. The 2026 season isn't just another year in the calendar, it's a reset button for Formula One. New power unit rules, fresh aerodynamic regulations, a level playing field. Teams have been quietly preparing for this shift for years, and Ferrari believes it could be their golden moment. That's why Hamilton is there, not for nostalgia, not for marketing, but to lead them through this exact storm. The team knows it too. That's why they've given him more than just driving duties. Hamilton's role is more like a co-architect of the next generation Ferrari. He's been sitting in on high-level engineering meetings, scrutinizing development timelines, and even influencing staffing decisions. The factory workers say it feels different when Lewis is around, not because he demands attention, but because he's earned it. When he talks, people listen, and he's not mincing words. He's challenged outdated structures, forced uncomfortable conversations, and demanded accountability in places where people used to hide behind tradition. The red walls of Maranello may be iconic, but Lewis didn't come to stare at them, he came to break through them. And that attitude is starting to shift the atmosphere inside Ferrari. There's urgency now, purpose, a sense that the window is narrow but not closed. Still, it's not a fairy tale. Hamilton's own form hasn't been sparkling. The mental toll of underperformance is heavy. After Saudi Arabia, he admitted the bosses weren't happy, and he wasn't hiding behind excuses either. He called out the background noise, the politics, the unspoken chaos that simmers inside every top team. But instead of running from it, he leaned into it. Because this fight isn't just about trophies anymore. It's about changing the DNA of a team that hasn't known how to win in over a decade. And time, as always, is the enemy. Hamilton turns 41 during the 2026 campaign. That's uncharted territory in modern F1. The sport isn't kind to aging champions. It doesn't care about past glories. It's brutal, ruthless, obsessed with the future. But Lewis isn't trying to survive in that world. He's trying to dominate it one more time on his terms. That's where the contract clause becomes both a shield and a sword. If Ferrari builds a rocket ship, Hamilton stays and rides it into history. But if the car falls short, if the politics drag on, if the culture resists change, he walks. No drama, no battles, just gone. And the team will have no say in it. But maybe that's the ultimate test. not just for Lewis, but for Ferrari. Can they evolve fast enough for a driver who refuses to settle? Can they match the intensity of a man chasing one last chapter of greatness? Because Hamilton doesn't need to prove anything. He already has 7 titles, more wins than anyone, and a legacy that's cemented. But he's here, wearing red, grinding harder than ever because something inside him still burns. That burn is aimed at one goal: breaking the curse. He doesn't want to join the list of legends who left Ferrari empty-handed. He wants to be the one who rewrote that ending. Not for the headlines, not even for the fans, but for himself, for the story that refuses to fade. So now the spotlight isn't just on the car, or the team, or the results. It's on the decision, that one clause. In the moment when Lewis Hamilton looks at everything, Ferrari's progress, his own belief, the dream, and chooses stay or go, win or walk, rewrite history or close the book. And when that moment comes, one thing's for sure: he won't flinch, because Lewis Hamilton isn't just racing anymore, he's chasing immortality.